favourite trail horse, which is about to come on TV, I hear, like next week, I think. And she was one of the judges and coaches there, and Pat and I were also guest judges and coaches. And she had Rider Biomechanics on her shirt, and I was like, boom! Because, you know, I'm really fascinated by that subject. And so we got talking and found out within like one word that she's Australian, Mike. And we just had a great time talking. And as I left, she gave me her DVD and said, you know, here's what I do, have a look at it. And so I was in the bus, Pat was driving, and I was back watching TV, watching Colleen's video. And she did this thing with the weighting the stirrups, and I was like, and I couldn't wait to get home and try it. And I came to Lindsay and I said, Lindsay, we're going to try this thing. And I told her about it. We didn't really know what we were doing. And she was on Jazzy and I was on West Point. And we were just riding in my arena. And so I'm trotting around and I just weighted my stirrup, and at West Point went boom, boom, boom. And then I weighted the other one, boom, boom. I was like, this is unbelievable. So please welcome Colleen.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll give you 2 minutes with her.
Incredible environment. I came here about a month ago, and I got to work with Linda and the 2 ladies that work with her, and it was just incredible. And we're going to be making a video together, so we're very, very excited. So you're the first people to actually hear about that. So and we're doing that on Wednesday, I believe, or sometime this week. And so if I were to leave you with one little tip, that would be the best piece of information I can give you real quick, is to check your stirrup lengths. Get a tape measure and make sure that they're both the same length, because a lot of people have one stirrup longer than the other and they don't even realise it. And if I'm going to throw one more tip in, a lot of your stirrups are too long. Have a look at Pat riding this afternoon. Now, I'm a dressage person predominantly. I used to be a Westie, but I got a bit old. And now I'm predominantly teaching English, but I teach a lot of Western people as well. And I say to one of my pupils, who's the current 2010 Horse of the Year for the USDF, one horse that I train, I say to them, look, ride like Pat. Get those same stirrup lengths that the Western riders are doing, because they're the people that stay on. And consider... Well, let me ask you this question. Have you ever heard of a dressage rider sending a horse to a cowboy to be fixed? Oh, yeah. Ever heard of a cowboy sending a horse to a dressage rider to be fixed? No. So that's because they stay on. So my biggest tip for you, real quick, is to go, you know, check those stirrup lengths. Make sure they're the same length, and also make sure they're not too long. Now, I'm going to be here all weekend. I'm going to be down near the Parelli saddles, which I really very much endorse. And they're great. They're really, really, really great. I've sat in them myself, and I think they're fantastic. And so I'll be down there. If you want to have a look at your own seat and posture, I'm happy to help you out with that, and throughout the weekend. So come on down and during the breaks.
Very cool.
And in the meantime, we'll my last tip is get the DVD.
What's your website?
My website is ColleenKelly.net. You'll find me. You'll find me. I'm on there.
Give her a big... Oh, question.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Hands up, anybody that's been said to by any kind of medical anybody that the one leg is longer than the other. Welcome to the world of normal. My best piece of advice is keep your stirrups the same length. I'm falling apart here. Thanks, Auntie Linda. My best piece of advice is to keep those stirrups the same length. I work with a lot of para-equestrians. One of my pupils won the gold medal at Sydney, another 2 bronzes at Beijing Olympics, and they've got all sorts of things going on. And we try the very best we can to keep those stirrups the same length. And you might have one slightly shorter or one slightly longer leg, but what we're trying to do is give the horse the balanced feeling that he needs. And so you might be riding a little bit like that, but to have level stirrups, well, we can actually measure that these days with pads that we put under the saddle, that we can actually measure what goes on when one stirrup is actually longer than the other. My best piece of recommendation with the best science that we can come up with throughout the world, is to keep your stirrups the same length. Unless you've got an orthotic that's so big, given to you by the doctor. But even then, we still keep the stirrups the same length. You ride with that orthotic if you can. Does that make sense? Yeah?
There's another question.
You go on the Parelli website, you have a look at every single photo of Pat that you can find, then get a photo of you and make you look like him. But in the meantime, there's also another way. Take your feet out of the stirrups, look up, bang your feet up against the stirrup, and the stirrup should sit just underneath the ankle knobble. But a lot of people's stirrups at the base of the foot is too long. And then a lot of this sideways stuff doesn't work. And I think it was Pat that said, the scarier the horse, the shorter the stirrup, or the bigger the buck, the shorter the stirrup, or something like that.
He says long stirrups for trail rides, short stirrups for bronc rides.
Yeah, and you know what? Those exact stirrup lengths, and I went on the Parelli website and I measured all these angles, and I compared that to the Spanish School of Riding. I trained for, I think 18 years with the head rider from the Royal School. Same stirrup length. Same stirrup length as the top 4 dressage competitors in the world today. And the dressage especially are told to have these long stirrups. There's no reason for that. That's just stupid. And if I, well, you know, if I train the #1 horse in the country and she's riding exactly the same stirrups as Pat Parelli, just can't do that because it's way easier. Well, I'll be around all weekend, so I'm happy to answer your questions and look at your own seat posture. I'll be mostly up around the saddle. So.
Thank you, Colleen. It's a wonderful addition to our fluidity program.